while since I've talked about crochet on this channel. It's been a while since I've done anything on this channel at all. But I wanted to talk a little bit about inspiration because sometimes when you're doing creative things, you need a little bit of inspiration. And so I wanted to share an adventure that I've recently had with you. Maybe it will inspire you to try to do something different with the yarn that's in your stash. You may be familiar, you've probably heard of Red Heart's Flower Power. It is a yarn that is designed to allow you to create granny squares with flowers in the middle of them. And the dyeing scheme is set up in a way that you can start and just keep going, and you should end up with a perfect granny square. Now, this relies on you having perfect tension and having the right size hook and doing everything perfectly. I tried that with one square and I realized this was not going to be the approach for me. Number one, I'm not a big fan of granny squares. I know that's kind of sacrilegious to say in the crochet world because granny squares are like foundational. It's like the thing that you first learn how to do a lot of times when you're learning how to crochet. I get it. I totally get it, but I'm still not a big fan of granny squares. Now, I have seen some patterns for sweaters that use granny square motif and they've been okay. I even bought a kit to make a crochet sweater vest that has granny squares, solid color granny squares, and that probably works out better for me. I think it's when you start to introduce weird colors into granny squares that something just falls apart for me. But one color, I haven't made that sweater yet, but I do intend someday to make it. But this yarn, you maybe have seen it or heard about it, Red Hot Flower Power. It comes in a variety of different colors. This particular these two, you see I've used them. I've got a lot missing because I've used them, and that's what I'm going to talk about. But what I have here is Rosy Disposition. You can see that, Rosy Disposition. This is a kind of a strange peachy pink with orange and yellowish. It's kind of strange, but it's supposed to make, primarily a peachy outside with a reddish orange in the middle. Very strange color. And then I've got here Poppy Star, which is a primarily red and orange, and this is a pretty true red. I don't know if it's coming across on the camera that way, but it's a pretty true red. And there's this, shocks of pink in here, and then you've got gold. And that's supposed to come out and look like a primarily gold with the red and then a little bit of pink in the center. So that's where the pink comes in. It's the center of the flower. Now, I had gotten a number of different colors of Flower Power. I had the blue set, which was Bluebell and Marigold. I have Red Hot Phlox, which is red hot. And I have one other color. No, this one's Poppy Star, right? I can never remember the names of these yarns, but I had kits in for review from Amazon. So I had 4 of everything except for this Rosy Disposition. I was supposed to get a package of 3 or 4, but for whatever reason it got messed up and I only had one. I'm like, well, what am I going to do with one? And so because I wasn't really a big fan of these colors, I liked the blues, the Bluebell and the Marigold I liked a lot. I made some stuff with that, but these colors, I didn't know what to do with them. These aren't colors, these aren't my colors. These aren't colors that I usually get excited about, but I decided what I was going to do is I was going to use them as just a practice experiment kind of thing. I have been wanting for a long time to make a raglan sleeve sweater with Tunisian crochet. Most of the patterns I've seen out there have used just standard crochet, and I really wanted to do something with Tunisian. Now, I've seen a few patterns out there, but nothing that really called for anything that I was really looking for. So I decided I'm just going to do this. I'm going to try it out. I'm going to start with an open cardigan so I don't have to do in the round because that just seemed like too much at the time. It's like I just want to make a Tunisian crochet sweater, raglan style, see how it goes. Maybe it'll work out, maybe it won't. I don't like these colors anyway. So let's just start here. I know I'm going to need well, if I was going to do in the round, I was going to need 2 balls, but I'm like, I'll do 2 balls because I'm used to doing 2 balls. So I've got the 2 balls and I'm like, I'm just going to try this out. Now, when you just see these colors, you see them laying next to each other. I'll arrange them so you can see them better. They don't necessarily, to me at least, they didn't necessarily seem like colors I would combine, right? There's a little bit of gold in here, but it's not the same gold as what's in here, right? They're different shades of gold. You can see that. Well, if I get the right color, you can see that the golds are not exactly the same. They're a little bit different, right? And there's no red in here. There's not really what I would call continuity of colors. When I mixed the bluebell and the marigold, they both had families of blue, they both had families of yellow, and they matched up really well. These two, like, this is just going to be, we're just try it. I'm not expecting it to be anything that's wearable. But as you can see, I've used almost all of this ball of yarn because these are big balls of yarn. They have 417 yards in them. They're really big when they're full. So what did I end up doing? We'll get to the big reveal now. I created an open face cardigan. You can see that it's open. I don't have buttons or anything on it. I have one little, what do you call that, bead at the top, and I've got a little loop to keep the bead on. But you can see this came out really well. We've got kind of like a little red and then kind of a peachy pink stripey thing going on. It's the back. And it's not super long. It reaches about to my belt, or just below, like an inch below my belt if I'm wearing jeans or pants. It's not super long. I did not put full sleeves on it because, as you can see, I don't have enough yarn left out of that Rosy Disposition to put sleeves on it. And give you a closer look here. So what you end up with is this really nice blending of the two yarn color combinations. You can see, because I really like Tunisian for combining colors, because you're able to see both colors in each row. They blend together really well. So you can see where you've got the poppy star and where you've got the Rosy Disposition, and the colors just, you get the mix of the colors on each row. So you end up with something that's unexpectedly wearable. I did not expect this to be wearable. I did not expect this to be something that I'd be happy to wear out in public. But because of the way the Tunisian simple stitch, this is a yarn over and a Tunisian simple stitch. It's basically, you know, simple, yarn over, simple, just going across like that all the way through. And so you get this kind of a little bit of an open feel and an open look, which makes it go faster. Tip, if you want to get through something, yarn over stitches make things go faster, but it also gives you more opportunity to see the color shine through in each row. The simple stitch itself allows you to see the color shining through in each row, but then when you have the open stitch combined with it, it just really, it gives you this really interesting look that I really, like I said, I was surprised when I did a few rows. When I start, you know, obviously you start at the top, and when you first start at the top, you don't get color changes as frequently. And so when I started off, I was like, well, it's going to be whatever it's going to be, right? But by the time I got to about right around here, so if you can see how it starts off with the red and the orange, and we bring the pink in, and you got a little bit of the golds and the peaches. By the time I got down here to where it's combining back to the red and oranges again, I realized, you know, this is going to be a pattern that I won't hate. And so I was really excited about this, to the point where I actually took two more other colors of Flower Power and mixed them together to get a very similar effect with colors, you know, that I would combine probably more readily than these two. But I was so excited by the results of this. It's like, I could keep doing this, and I was not expected. So I wanted to share this because maybe you've got yarn, and it doesn't have to be Flower Power. It doesn't have to be two variegated shades. It doesn't have to be multis like these. It can be yarn that maybe you weren't even expecting that could pair, colors that you wouldn't pair on their own. Maybe try using something like an open stitch like this Tunisian yarn over simple combination, and see if you can come up with something that you might want to use. And it doesn't have to even be something that you want to wear. Maybe it might just be something you can use around the house. Maybe a little throw, a little thing, you know, wear around your neck, maybe make a little hat, just something a little bit different. I thought that this came out so well, and I wanted to share it with you so you could see and maybe be inspired to try something different. Even when you think you've got two yarn combinations that would look ugly together, maybe try them. Maybe, try a little small thing, a little towel or a little pot holder or something, and see how it works out. And you might come up with something that you really like that you didn't expect. So that's what I wanted to share, my adventures with using flower power for something other than granny squares and flower granny squares. I'm really happy with the way this came out. And so that is something that I hope can inspire you to try something new and different with your crochet adventures. Thanks for watching.